What philosophy led to Maduro's downfall? First, an important disclaimer. I have personally experienced the Venezuelan crisis, and I am glad that the Chavista regime has fallen, a regime that destroyed an entire country, held hostage by an elite that hoarded too much power, and as a result, it became corrupt, to the point where some of its leaders were making $500,000 a month and couldn't care less. If ordinary people had to eat, power corrupts, and this applies to people of any ideology or political position, and just for saying this, they call me a communist. Now, let's get to our topic. Trump didn't do it to defend democracy and freedom, but rather this interventionist and expansionist policy has always been in the philosophical DNA of the American superpower. The United States was born as a country founded by Protestant Puritans with a very clear vision. They saw themselves as a people chosen by God. Puritan leaders like John Winthrop used Bible verses to justify this. America was their promised land, like Israel was for the Jews, which is why they got along so well. Their label as Puritans stems from ideological poverty that became racial poverty, influenced by verses like Deuteronomy 7:3-6. This caused them to avoid both mixing with and evangelizing indigenous people, unlike Spanish Catholics, and instead seize their land by force, resulting in cultural genocide. That's why practically peoples like the Sioux or Cherokees are just history today. These beliefs became secularized after the country's independence, with the famous doctrine of manifest destiny. The United States, the chosen nation to expand all the way to the Pacific, and why not to the rest of the world? This vision is still very present in contemporary governments. And as the United States gained more economic and political power, its influence expanded rapidly. First, by ousting other powers like Spain from the continent, then consolidating its hegemony after both world wars, according to Global. That's why its list of unilateral interventions is so long, I'd need several videos just to name them all. This way of thinking, with origins in Puritanism and manifest destiny, is known as moral exceptionalism. The belief that a country sees itself as inherently superior and entitled, disregarding ethics and international law where might makes right. This also explains Washington's double standard, where it intervenes to overthrow autocrats in the name of democracy, like in Libya or Iraq. It makes deals with dictatorships like Saudi Arabia and condemns Russia's actions in Ukraine, yet still conditionally supports Israel despite its actions in Gaza. Let's celebrate the fall of the Chavista regime, but always remain cautious of Uncle Sam's intentions.